Like on a holistic business level, what are the key things that business owners need to be thinking about right now in terms of how they move their business through this crisis and beyond? Don, I'll put this back to you.
From a business point of view, Lo, it's simple. It's think money in, not money out. You need to be agile, quick decision making. You're not always going to make the right decision always, but you need to make quick decisions from a business point of view. And you will have to fund the future. You need to run as if you're a startup again. You need to consider what you need to prototype in the market again, and you really need to test the market because the rules of the game has changed drastically.
That's an interesting thing. Think like you're a startup. For some companies, they are a startup again because their previous business model has been wiped out. And some companies are doing just fine on their core business model and now have a different arena to compete in. So they also have to figure out, how do they kickstart those new lines of revenue that weren't as possible previously. I love that. I love that concept. Jock?
Yeah, I guess to this in the same line, focusing on growth in this time. Like Donna said, there's a lot of cost cutting that happened in a lot of businesses, and it's important to cut that unnecessary cost, but also to realize, and there's been studies showing this, that in the last financial crisis, there's a lot of companies that actually gained a lot of competitive advantage in this time. And there's actually this interesting study where they show some of your market leaders, and let's call it your followers. In a normal economy, your followers and your market leaders over time get closer to each other as your followers just catch up on those competitive advantages. But in an economy like this, it actually shows that your market leaders can actually widen that gap in terms of creating that competitive advantage, which is even bigger. And it's also a time where market leaders can drop off a bus at the same time and new heroes of a day get raised up. So it's a time to make sure you're safe, but at the same time to also look out for those opportunities, because this is where the game can change.
Dang, no, I love that, Jock. Thank you. Those are some good insights. Wilhelm, over to you.
I think all of us mentioned cost cutting. It's just always the cautionary, don't cut too deep. Many of the organizations out there have trimmed their excess weight, and now in many cases it included personnel, and they're sitting now with a core team, and losing one or two individuals now out of your team might be absolutely detrimental to the business in order to function. So it's really now you've cut your excess weight. Now look at your body, look at your business, and what do you need to do right now to keep that machine healthy so that it can grow again? And really look, Donna coined it so well, funding the future. Don't think of what's happening right now. Think of what's happening in the next 6 to 12 months and how you're going to respond to that and grow your business again.
Absolutely. No, thanks, Wilhelm. I think that word future has really come out quite a lot in the last while, where people have been in crisis mode for the last couple of months, but it's actually a really good time to start thinking about, what's next? What does this company look like in 6 months from now, in 6 years from now, and in 60 years from now? Kind of how do you build that scale up journey off of this, this new, generally lower base that companies have to work from, and also in a new type of operating environment where some of the things that were possible previously now maybe aren't possible. You can't just go and see your client across the street tomorrow if you have to have a difficult conversation. But other things are possible again that weren't possible before the crisis. Like you're now as far away from a client on the other side of the world as the competitor across the street from them. So it's quite interesting how it closes a lot of doors, and then it also opens a lot of doors again. And Jock, you mentioned that value proposition. You have to build that core value proposition. That you have to have that strong. You have to make sure that you're one of the market leaders. Otherwise, you might not be able to make it through all of it.
Hey, Lo here, one of the founders of Outsourced CFO. If you enjoyed this video, make it official. Click subscribe.